রাম হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ হরে কৃষ্ণ হরে 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 রাম হরে রাম রাম হরে হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. दूर है Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Nagina, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. यहाँ पे बोलो Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Please raise your hand. Jagannath is so happy he gives so much rain. Bol Nitayo Gaurango, Nitayo Gaurango. Oh, Nitai Gaurango, Jaya Nitai Gaurango. Bol Nitai Gaurango, Jaya Nitai Gaurango. Bol Nitai Gaurango, Jaya Nitai Gaurango. For Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra, Jagannath Swami Nayana Bhatagami, Nayana Bhatagami.
Is happy. The soul gets the opportunity to serve the Lord, and that's what the soul is hankering for. So according to Bhagavad Gita, this idea of bhakti, or this idea of devotion, is where despite of all circumstances, despite all pains, despite all tough to endure circumstances, to still serve the Lord is a great achievement. So be sure that your
we take any type of difficulty to serve the Lord especially becomes very happy with us. So today we can expect that the Lord is showering us with a lot of mercy. And in fact, if we see this rain as actually flower petals being showered by the demigods, by those high denizens from the kingdom of heaven, then actually that's the correct attitude. Srila Prabhupada describes that the secret of success is actually a humble attitude of service. He could have easily said, it's actually a humble, that secret of success is humble service. But he didn't do that. He used the word attitude in between. Why? Because this is a very imperfect world. There's so many imperfections in this world. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, Kaler Doshanidhe Rajan, Asti hi ek mahan gun, Kirtanadeva Krishnasya, Mukta Sangha Paramraja. That this world is actually an ocean of faults. But there is one great quality, and that great quality is that we can do kirtan of Krishna, which is what we did when we actually took the Rath on the parade. And also had the association of Mukta Sangha, meaning those who are liberated, those who actually will bring us to the highest destination. So today is the day of Ratha Yatra. Ratha, as we all know, means a chariot. And we can see that we had a wonderful chariot to carry the deities of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra Maharani, and of course of Srila Prabhupada also. And Yatra has many different meanings. One of its most important meanings is when you visit with someone, then you're on a yatra. So today, we visited with the Supreme Lord, the Lord of the universe, Sri Jagannath Ki. So he is the Lord of the universe. And how this all started was that at one time, Krishna decided that he wanted to spend some time with his relatives in Mathura. So he had to leave Vrindavan. And of course, this didn't sit well with the residents of Vrindavan. None of us want to be separated from Krishna. But our situation now is that we are separated from Krishna. We left the spiritual world, we came here, and now we feel this separation. We feel the burning separation. So the gopis and the gopas, the mother and father of Krishna knew that they were going to have a lot of difficulties when Krishna left. Because only with Krishna's presence and Lord Balaram's presence was there so much happiness in Vrindavan. So Krishna promised that I will come back soon. But actually it took him some time coming back. In the meantime, the residents of Vrindavan became really very, very much in pain. So much so that Radharani decided that she wanted to actually commit suicide. This is the level of difficulty that they were facing. So it so happened that when Krishna was at Kurukshetra, at the Battle of Kurukshetra, which is where the Bhagavad Gita was spoken, Radharani and the other residents of Vrindavan decided to visit with Krishna. And during that visitation, they convinced Krishna that he should come back to Vrindavan. And that is the Ratha Yatra program. When they actually brought the Lord of the Universe, Krishna, back to Vrindavan, that parade was known as the Ratha Yatra parade. But there's something very significant about this parade. It's not just a story. Because in this pastime of Jagannath Ratha Yatra, something very important that we all hold dear in our lives will happen. And that is that we are able to complete our desires. In this world, people have many different types of desires, right? What are some of the desires that people have in this world? Strong desires. No, it's not a very difficult question, it's an easy question. Say that again? Somebody yelled out something.
Women!
Women, okay, yeah. The desire to associate with the opposite sex. Okay. What other things? Money. Money is a big one, right? Kali Yuga is described will actually be run by money. People will be known by the amount of wealth they will have. What else do people have real great desire for? For good health, right? Absolutely. People have health. Power. People want power. So actually it is described that everybody is trying to reach their destination of whatever their desires are. And these desires go up in different stages. The first set of desires deal with piety, intelligence, and nobility. Piety means that people want to be pious so that they can be happy in their lives. They want to be smart, which is intelligence. And nobility means that they want some position in their life. They want to do great things. So actually, Ratha Yatra achieves these purposes. It is described that if anybody has darshan of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra on the day of Ratha Yatra, all of their desires will be fulfilled. Then higher than these desires, people have desires for spirituality because they know that they are the spirit soul. So they want something more permanent. Because these material desires are temporary, because they only last until the body is there. When the body is gone, then the new body wants its set of desires. But the soul continues, and that's called spiritual life. The soul is eternal. So now these eternal desires are also fulfilled by Lord Jagannath on the day of Ratha Yatra. It is described that Lord Jagannath on the day of Ratha Yatra is called Patita Pavana. Patita Pavana Jagannath, meaning that he is the one who will bring purity in our lives. And when purity comes in our lives, then great success comes in our lives. So these stories are actually told, or these pastimes are told in what is called the Srimad Bhagavatam. How many of you don't know what the Srimad Bhagavatam is? Any of you? Okay, great. So all of you know what the Srimad Bhagavatam is. A few of you say that you don't. The Srimad Bhagavatam is actually the pastimes of Krishna. Like the Bhagavad Gita is actually the words of Krishna himself. Krishna speaks the Bhagavad Gita. The Srimad Bhagavatam is about Sri Krishna, the pastimes of Sri Krishna, and actually expands on the Bhagavad Gita. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, these pastimes are told how Krishna was separated from the residents of Vrindavan, how he went to Mathura, and in Mathura, Jarasandha decided to attack Mathura so many times to dislodge the rulers of Mathura. Then Krishna decided to build Dwarka, and how the family was moved to Dwarka, and then the battle of Kurukshetra happened like this. These stories are told. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is considered the best amongst all scriptures. Actually, in the 12th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam is described as the king of all scriptures. And so, on the 24th of September this year, there is a very important day that comes, and that day is called Bhadra Purnima. It's actually the month of Bhadra, and Purnima happens to fall on September the 24th this year. So it is described that if anybody gives a set of Srimad Bhagavatam to anybody else, gifts it on that day, that person who gifts the Srimad Bhagavatam will go back to Godhead, all the way back to the spiritual world. Now, what is the big deal about the spiritual world? Well, the spiritual world is the place where one can not only fulfill one's desires unlimitedly, but has unlimited power, unlimited ability to live a life of full knowledge and happiness. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is a very important scripture, and I wanted to read something from Sanatana Goswami, who is one of the greatest ever devotees who lived on this planet. Sanatana Goswami is actually a Manjari in the spiritual world. The Manjaris are the greatest amongst the devotees in the spiritual world. And she is one of the leading Manjaris, and here when she came at the time of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, she was known as Sanatana Goswami. She took the name, the male form of Sanatana Goswami. So Sanatana Goswami writes 5 verses to actually glorify the Srimad Bhagavatam. And I thought I'd read them out to you, these 5 verses, so that you can see why the Srimad Bhagavatam is considered so very important. If I can just get to the next. Okay. Phone switched over to another. Okay, here it is. So these 5 verses are known as the Srimad Bhagavata Mahima Stotra. So this is the first verse. Now when you see the translation, when you hear the translation, you will understand why the Srimad Bhagavatam is such an important book. So this is his first verse. Sarva Sastra Dipniyusha Sarva Vedika Sattvala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya Sarva Lokeka Dritprada. This is how he describes the Srimad Bhagavatam. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of light to all the worlds. So we know in our life there's so many scriptures that actually he describes that there's an ocean of scriptures because there's so many books that describe spirituality. But the one most important of those books is the Srimad Bhagavatam. And it is described as the singular fruit of all the scriptures. There is one big fruit, and that fruit is the Srimad Bhagavatam. He describes that as the rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, because it's the truths that actually matter the most. And of all the truths, the conclusive truths are written in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he says it's the only giver of light to all the worlds. So you can see why everybody should have a Srimad Bhagavatam set in their house. It is described, if anybody has a set of Srimad Bhagavatam in their house, in that house miracles will happen. Amazing, amazing miracles will happen. Now we have devotees here from the temple of Seattle, from St. Louis. So you can actually ask them and they will tell you about these sets. I'm wondering if there is a bookstall here. On the day of Ratha Yatra, we get these types of boons because the Ratha Yatra itself is a pastime that comes from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we can see this great festival in one small part of the Srimad Bhagavatam. A description is given and a great festival.
You all have two hands or not? Everybody got a hand? Please raise your hand there, please.